Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Calling this meeting to order at 5:02. Is there anything to report from closed session? Trustee Sue? Oh, sorry.
There's nothing to report from closed session.
Thank you. Our opening procedures, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Thank you. Looking to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Trustee Irwin on the second. Looking for public comment. We do have any more sheets. I've got some up here, but
We need to
ready
vote.
for.
Oh, they're on the agenda.
Oh, we need to vote on the agenda.
That's Thank you, Jessica.
Any discussion of the agenda? Any adjustments? Any comments on the agenda or changes? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted as presented. Now's a time of the meeting where we welcome public comment on matters that are not on tonight's agenda. I'll remind people that no action will be taken by the board unless the matter is placed on a subsequent agenda. And we ask that people respect time limits, and we intend to allow as much time as people want here this evening. So I've had a request. I think Sandy Wells wanted to go first.
I think it,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah.
Great, thanks so much. Okay. Good evening. I come before you again to address a pressing issue that threatens the foundation of our educational community. The departure of our dedicated teachers to other districts. This one's hard for me. This is not just about numbers. It's about the very people who shape the minds of our children and contribute to the success of our schools. Let me share a specific example that illustrates the gravity of the situation. Julie Gallagher, a valued member of our teaching staff, recently made a difficult decision to leave Kentfield School District for Santa Fe City Schools. Her departure wasn't about dissatisfaction with our community or a desire for change. It was driven by a significant difference in financial compensation. In Santa Fe, Julie was offered 12 years on the salary schedule, which resulted in a $13,000 raise, even after leaving 6 years unused on the table. This kind of financial improvement is impossible to ignore, especially for those who have dedicated their careers to educating our children. Santa Fe increased the years they would credit a teacher from 8 years to 12 years because they recognize the importance of attracting and retaining high-quality educators. While Kentfield does take all the years that a new employee brings, Kentfield is not giving a whole lot of incentive to stay. These are loyal teachers that did not want to leave. They were forced to take a leave to take care of their families and their futures. Julie's story is not unique. We are losing strong and seasoned teachers that Kentfield School District has invested in over the years to higher paying districts can offer them more. The reality is that Kentfield's most veteran teachers rank 15th out of 16th, not counting Nicosia that has a total of 35 students and is considered a district in Marin County. And that's in terms of compensation, 15th out of 16th. The ranking is deeply concerning and highlights the lack of competitiveness to our salary structures. While some might argue that comparing our district to Santa Fe City Schools, which has a separate high school union, is like comparing apples and oranges, I believe the comparison is valid. the core issues here is not about structural differences, it's about prioritization of teacher salaries. Other districts are making teacher teacher compensation a priority because they understand that retaining quality educators is essential to maintaining the standard of education and their communities expect and deserve. Larkspur Core Madera School District not only pays $10,000 more per year for a teacher of my years of experience. Mill Valley is, I believe, $21,000 more, but they also increased their benefits package this summer when I was perusing EdJoin, and it said new $22,750 for staff employed 50% or more. This covers employee and family under the Kaiser HMO, and the cap can also go towards Blue Shield's PPO. So last year that was being discussed in that though our salaries are lower, our benefit package is higher. And that argument doesn't hold water anymore. The argument, LCM recognized that they needed to make even more changes in order to offer competitive salaries. And they made it happen. The bottom line is that we as a district must also prioritize teacher salaries. If we do not take proactive steps to offer competitive compensation, we will continue to lose our most valuable asset, and that's our teachers. I urge the board to consider the long-term implications of our current salary structure and to take action to ensure that we can retain the dedicated professionals who make our schools exceptional. Let's work together to find a solution that will keep our amazing teachers in Kentfield where they belong. Thank you.
Next, we have Marty Ross for Marjorie Bukowski.
Hi, now you know I'm a really dedicated friend because I have to read this off my phone, which I don't do, but I'm going to do my best. This is from Marjorie. I'm writing this to you as not only the Base KTA site rep, but as a teacher. It's been disheartening to know that while we are working diligently to get our students off to a strong start at the beginning of the school year, we are also having to stand here before you to plead for fair compensation. To recap, during our last negotiations, the board declared impasse. The measly counteroffer was 2.25% with a bump to 3% if property tax revenues rise more than 1% above projections, which is unlikely to happen. This amount is less than the cost of living increase. If you compare our most veteran teachers with other Marin County veteran teachers, we fall 15th out of 17 school districts. This is not acceptable. We are often compared with Mill Valley and Ross schools, but our compensation is not comparable. This deficit is not only between us and our surrounding districts. If you are a teacher in San Rafael with 12 years of experience, you would be making $14,660 less than someone with the same experience by working in Kentfield School District. That hurts, and it's embarrassing. We are held to high standards, but our salaries are not reflective of those expectations. We have seen really great teachers move to other districts, and I fear that more will follow. You are a talented, creative board. Will you please be creative in finding a solution before you see a mass exodus of highly qualified teachers from our district? That's from Marjorie. And now this is from me, just making it up off the cuff. I'm a veteran teacher. I've been doing this a long time. And I remember when I first went into teaching, graduating as an English major, and my dad said, "Why are you doing that? You'll never be able to support a family. You'll never be able to, raise your children on your own." And I did it. I did it on the salary, but I always had the hopes that if I worked hard enough, I'd make enough money to be comfortable. And we don't do this job for the money. We've said that before, but we need to make a living. We need to pay the same bills that you all are paying. And we have children in college, children who need things, and we need to help pay for them. And I just am speaking from that truth that that's all we're asking for. We're not being greedy. Thank you.
Celeste Perez.
Hi, Celeste Perez. I am a resident in Greenbrae with the Kentfield, in the Kentfield district, and I speak tonight right now before you as a resident of the district. So I have received these two colorful mailers in the last 2 months. This one arrived today. It is full color, 4 pages, boosting the bond that the school district is proposing. About a month and a half ago, I received this glossy 4-page mailer, which is basically just an update, I guess, on the district, a newsletter, if you will. And as a resident, these go right straight from my mailbox to my recycling bin, which is very close by. I cannot imagine what the paper and the mailing costs for these things, but I do know that teachers in May at Basage were asked to stop making photocopies because we were out of paper. We're clearly not out of money to buy paper. We just are out of it for the use of the teachers and the students. I received a phone call over the summer, as did all of my neighbors and my husband. I received a text over the summer, as did all of my neighbors and my husband, from a organization that the Kentfield School District hired to ask whether or not the people that they were calling, I'm imagining everybody in the district because my entire street was phone called, if we would support a bond, this bond. From what I heard, I was ineligible to participate in the survey because the first question they asked was, do you or anybody in your household work for Kentfield? And I said, yes. And they said, thank you very much, and hung up. But I have lots of very friendly, helpful neighbors, and they told me everything that was asked, and it was all about the bond. I can't imagine what that company cost the district, but it couldn't have been cheap. And then I get a 4-page color brochure about everything that they were asking in those phone calls. It just seems like a lot of money to be spending on a bond when the teachers just want a competitive salary. Thank you.
Jessica Whitehouse.
Hello, I'm Jessica Whitehouse. I'm one of the special education teachers here at Kent, and I'm here to speak to you about morale. So as a special education teacher, I get to spend a lot of time at the start of the school year talking to a lot of teachers about our students, seeing a lot of classrooms, so we find out, how everything's going to work for kids. And I see here at Kent, and I hear from my colleagues at Basage, how positive and vibrant and ready to make things amazing people are at the start of this year. And I'm thinking about what it was like at the end of last year. And I'm very concerned because I think that I know my colleagues are professional and deeply caring about teaching and about children. And they probably use the summer to refill their tanks to be able to come here and do this important work. But they're also human beings, and they can't maintain the kind of energy and commitment and heart they need to be the kind of teachers you need them to be. If they live in this uncertain place, we live in this uncertain place, without a contract. We can't sustain this level of commitment with this level of uncertainty. It just doesn't work because we're human. And no matter how important our profession is to us, there's limits. So this is what I want to speak to you about. I feel it's very pressing. I feel it's very important that we come to a better agreement soon so that the students don't suffer the falling morale, because you just can't build that back easily. It's like trust. When you lose it, it's really hard to get back. It's momentum. And I know that I often ask teachers to go the extra mile for students, to think about things a different way, to do things that they didn't realize were possible because kids need it. And so I would like you to do that for us. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak? Before we move on, I'll say on behalf of this board that we hear you. We are 100% listening to you. We volunteered many hours over the summer and are dramatically ramping up the number of hours that we're volunteering to make Kentfield School District as good as possible and successful as possible for everyone as the school year ramps up. We put a tremendous amount of time and effort into this. We are being creative, we are being thoughtful, and we very much care about success here in the district. And unfortunately, because of the Brown Act, we can't respond to these questions. We will try to clarify many things in the coming weeks and months as we can about the bond and other matters. Moving on to Kentfield School District reports. I'll start with a quick finance update. We don't have much to report quite yet. We will have our unaudited year-end numbers for you at the September 10th meeting. We have to turn those in September 15th. That'll be the opportunity for everyone to see in black and white very clearly our financial situation. And we'll have updates on property tax trends and so on and so forth that have an impact on that as well. Moving on to the employee organization reports. I think we'll hear from ATA first.
Good evening. I'm Celeste Perez. I'm the secretary of the Kentfield Teachers Association and a 27-year educator. Tonight, I've been asked to speak on behalf of all the educators of the Kentfield Teachers Association. I speak for the dedicated, hardworking teachers at Basage and Kent who have welcomed with smiling faces and loyal hearts the children of our community to a brand new school year. Teaching is a calling that we all feel. And as we engage our new students in our classrooms and around our campuses, we bring empathy and compassion. We bring our years of expertise and our whole hearts to the children in our care. We teachers want to start by thanking KIC and KSPTA and our parent community for your continuing support to our students, our teachers, and support professionals. Your partnerships with our schools allow our top-notch teachers to provide programs of excellence worthy of distinguished school status. We truly appreciate your support. It's unfortunate, however, that we don't feel the same level of support from our board or our superintendent. At a recent welcome back assembly for the district teachers, the board president and the superintendent addressed us and failed to acknowledge to any degree that we lack a new labor agreement and how this must weigh heavily on all of us as we begin the school year. The seemingly lack of empathy from leadership, while effectively telling us to just keep rowing, drains the morale of every teacher here tonight. Nonetheless, we continue with our professionalism and we provide a high level of education to our students that they deserve. Our teachers should be focused on our students and not distracted by the district's decision to declare impasse instead of offering our hardworking teachers a contract that reflects the cost of living increases here in the Bay Area. To add insult to injury, the district expects teachers to absorb indefinitely all cost increases to our existing benefits. We've done nothing to deserve what effectively is a wage cut for our teachers. As the district is well aware, our most experienced educators already rank near the bottom of the county in salary and may be in danger of being the bottom. This is not the way you show your teachers they're valued. We are losing quality teachers. Teachers that this district has already spent considerable time, effort, money, training, because other districts are willing to pay them their worth. Our district has the best and brightest educators, and we must start doing everything it can to retain them for our students. That includes compensating them commensurate with their value to the community. The district must show as much, if not more, urgency in meeting our fair demands to be paid a respectful, competitive wage, as it's shown for promoting and passing the upcoming bond measure and looming parcel tax renewal. Your teachers are your education program. As you know, wages delayed are wages denied. It is incumbent on you to show with your actions rather than your words that you value what we do and our impact on the success and well-being of the students in the Kentfield district. Our students deserve respect, and so do we teachers. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Gretchen Harris, the president of the Kentfield Education Support Professionals Association, representing all of the classified staff. I don't have a grocery list tonight, but I do want to take a look at everybody in red. Everybody in red is an expert at saving money. Everybody in red knows how to clip coupons. Everybody in red knows those days when you get double coupons. We've been there. We're still there. Coupons are great for saving money on goods, but they're not great for saving money on services. We are humans. We should not be subject to coupons. We shouldn't have to worry that they're looking for a lower price for someone doing what we do. It's very disheartening to feel like we are the Sunday circular. We're those junk mail pieces you get every Wednesday in your mailbox. We need to find a way to help us feel honored in this district again. It's a really, really difficult choice to go to the grocery store and have to buy the store brand or not buy something because the cost of groceries is so expensive here. Cost of living is so expensive here. You can't compare what we pay with the rest of the state. It's very expensive. And you can't cut corners to maintain the amazing group of educators that you see right here. Any one of them has dedicated their time, their life to making sure that the students in the Kentfield receive the very best education. Our students deserve the best education. Our employees deserve to be recognized and honored. That's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
I think we're not going to hear from KIC tonight. Is that right?
No.
We'll hear from KIC and KSPTA at the next meeting, which is September 10th, where we have those financial numbers for you, like I mentioned. Moving on to I1, superintendent and staff reports. Raquel?
So I just have brief updates around enrollment. Let me just get this up on the screen real quick. And it's not showing, but I'll wait and see if it comes up. So quick updates I have for back to school. So we started back, staff returned on August. Grant, can you help with that screen? Sorry.
I'll maybe bring the mic a little bit closer.
There it goes. Great. Great. So we started back, I will say, actually, we had our staff back in late July, last week of July, first week of August. Our office support staff returned, as well as our administrative team. And then slowly all kind of the welcoming back items. We had our new staff orientation on August 9th, and then all staff returned on August 14th, where we had our opening day over at Basage School. And so we opened school with students on the 21st of August. We had a interesting first day, a power outage that we were notified of at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and ultimately determined that it was best to go ahead and have school for our students over at Basage. And kudos to Cass and Maria for all that they did to support their staff on site, and to all of the staff that were there and just did everything to make sure that the day was as smooth as possible. And so we did learn that the power outage was based on there was a potential wildfire. And so there's these immediate turnoffs of the power when those happen. Now it's a new PG&E practice. And so we can anticipate the power outages to continue to be frequent and unexpected. We welcomed about 14 new team members, new certificated, new classified, new members in our district office as well. And just kind of moving through the onboarding process and the professional development at our sites. At Kent, there was a real focus on the standards-based grading and digging into that work some more. And at Basage, it was around the new pilot for the CKLM reading literacy program. So you'll hear more from our principals at our September meeting related to that. And it's just quick general updates about back to school. In terms of enrollment, this here shows our projected enrollments last spring, what we were projecting, and then what our current enrollment is as of today. We actually ran enrollment lists to see. So you can see we're a little above 1,994 kids total. And then if you add in our TKers, then we're a little above 1,000. We have 21 TKers, which is a pretty significant decrease from what we had projected. The most significant change we saw in numbers is TK. We had projected at 30 and we ended up with 21 students showing up. So we have made a decision to consolidate and only operate the AM program. And so we're in that process right now. I think today Maria shared with me all 21 showed up to the AM program. And then for kindergarten, we had quite a few new enrollees, 7 new students. So we went from 83 to 90. So that's where we saw the biggest shifts. We had different shifts across the grade levels. Some grade levels were flat, some grade levels added a couple more kids, but we're hovering kind of pretty close to what we had projected. So that's good news. The last thing I wanted to provide an update on was related to the LCAP. So the board approved the proposed LCAP here at the June meeting, and then it goes to the county office for their review alongside the district budget. They did a review, and so they have just some technical changes that we need to adjust. And so that has to be amended and provided back to the county office by September 15th. So you'll see that at the September meeting. And Michael and I are meeting with the county office on Friday, I believe, just to kind of go over those changes. So those are.
Can you just explain for anybody listening what an LCAP is?
The LCAP is our local control accountability plan. And so it aligns with the budget. So in the LCAP, you have set goals and actions and services that you're going to provide. and then how those actions and services are aligned to the budget that the board adopts. So there are two things that are
Like
going.
a strategy.
It's like your strategy plan. It's like a strategic plan. So those are all the updates I have.
Any questions on any of that? What's discussion?
I just want to say that, I know the power outage was really stressful for everyone, but my son came home ecstatic that, they had school in the dark.
Yeah, and I'm also sure that you all noticed, but every parent I talked to appreciated the decision to continue
Yeah.
as planned, and everyone really enjoyed that day, so thank you.
I think we'll just move on through the plan board break because we're and we'll go on to the section K, the consent items. Looking for a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
Trustee Amanzadeh, looking for a second.
Second.
Trustee Irwin, any discussion or adjustments?
No.
Raquel?
No.
Any discussion from the board? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The consent items are adopted as presented. Moving on to the discussion action agenda section of our agenda, L1A, policy. Consider the approval of KSD's response to the Marin County Civil Grand Jury Report to learn or not to learn, are children with learning differences set up for success. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Trustee Amanzadeh, looking for a second.
Second.
Trustee Irwin, discussion.
So what you have before you is a response to the latest grand jury report that came out, I want to say it was June 6th, right before the school year ended, and it was focused on special education. A lot looking at the use of how are we putting information out there to our families related to special education services? What is the system that we're using to track services and that we're doing that on a regular basis? Also some recommendations related to the Marin County Office of Education doing some oversight of special education services happening locally in your school districts. So the county office actually took the lead in responding to a lot of these questions and giving some additional background and guidance for us with the help of the SELPA, the Special Education Local Plan Area. And so what we're required to do is respond to the findings and the recommendations, and then have a letter that gets sent to the grand jury on behalf of the school district. So that's before you. And the recommendations were specifically to be sure that we have information on our website, which we do. Be sure that we're utilizing the Special Education Information System, SACE, which we do. There was a recommendation to have the county office review all of our IEPs and their implementation. The county office said they will not be doing that, and so they said that's not appropriate. So we denied that recommendation. And I think there was also one related to a data tracking tool in SACE, in Special Education Information System. And so we just have to do some additional analysis on that tool and how it is or isn't being utilized. So recommend your approval of the letter and the response.
And I'm reminding this board that we do get these civil grand jury reports a few times a year. And when they do have, when they're school related, we respond to them as do all the school districts in the county. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? The response is approved as presented. Item B, consider the approval of an interdistrict transfer request from Kentfield School District into Novato Unified School District for 24-25 school year. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Trustee Amanzadeh, looking for a second.
Second.
Trustee Irwin, discussion.
So I understand this is a student that was previously attending the Nevada Unified School District, and they have moved into the Kentfield School District, and they are requesting that they get to continue. The reason for continuing is because of the services in which they receive there is just continuity of program. And so what this board has typically done is approved any outs, and then ultimately the Nevada district will review and make a determination if they'll approve the transfer.
So reminder that a yes vote is approving this outgoing IUT. Any questions from the board? Any points of discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The IDT outbound from Kentfield to Novato is approved as presented. Governance in terms of board meeting highlights, I'd like to suggest that we mention the good turnout that we had, the turnout we had from our staff and the meaningful conversation, statements that we heard, that we are hearing from our staff and taking those things into consideration. We continue to meet our obligations to the county by responding to things like civil grand jury and the LCAP and those things. There's always administrative burden that comes with some of those requirements, so I appreciate the admin office taking care of all that. Anything else that anyone else wanted to highlight from today's meeting? Future agenda items, we have a pretty packed schedule here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be together a lot, many hours. Are there any things that people want to see, make sure they're on the agenda in the future? Anything that came up over the summer or anything else that's on people's minds?
Rick, I heard you right that the next meeting, we will do a full review of the call it unaudited financials.
That'll be a big
At
part
the
of our
September
September
10th
10th.
meeting. Yeah.
We had some carryovers from last year around future agenda items. Have we captured those? And I think they're
in that
being
Google Doc it's there for tracking running issues. So maybe something for us to all put eyes on again and remind ourselves about. We've had so many other things to work on.
Okay.
24-25 board dates.
So this is coming to you again to look at and review. The change is the December meeting. So typically this board meets the second Tuesday of the month, which would be December 10th. But there is a timing issue because of the election and when we need to submit information to the county, because we have a board election in November. And so, and at the same time, we are required to complete and provide the first interim by December 15th, right? So there's like some requirements here. So we are recommending to adjust it to December 17th. We'll go ahead and submit that December 15th to the county office for their review, like we're required, and then have it ratified by the board. So that's the change. It's just having our December meeting be the third Tuesday versus the second Tuesday.
I may not be able to attend that day.
Oh, okay.
In that case, we would still have a quorum.
Absolutely.
So would we see the final submission before it went on the 15th? When would we see that? Do we need to approve it or?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it is what it is because it's just all of the
Oh, it's just-
numbers.
it's just
So,
numbers.
but it'll
Okay.
come forward to you too.
Or we have to do a special?
No, I don't believe we have to do a special. I look at Michael. I don't believe, and it's that as long as it gets submitted to them and then if there's any adjustments. we can
Okay.
make those.
And then January 7th is the first Tuesday, or no, is that technically the second?
That's the first Tuesday. I don't know why we did that instead of the 14th. Because it should be the 14th. Yeah. Yeah, we should adjust that now. It should be January 14th.
Is this an action item for tonight?
No,
Just-
no. We just make the adjustments. I don't know if that was a carryover from last year or something, but
So a typical cadence of 13 meetings. Reports from Board of Trustees, we're going to start with Kari.
Actually don't have anything to report. I'm sorry, guys, I haven't made it to the classrooms yet, but I will, I promise.
Benny,
I also have not been to the classrooms yet. Just trying to survive the first couple weeks of school. I did go to I don't know if this is relevant, but I'll share it. I did go to a Larkspur Planning Commission meeting last week about some of the affordable housing that's coming into the area and the plans around that. Really interesting conversations. I actually wasn't aware of everything that was going on until that meeting. There's a website which I can share out of some of the plans around that. And one of the things that I brought up there, talking to others, it feels like Larkspur's thinking about it individually, the county's thinking about it individually, Fairfax is thinking about it individually, and I think it'd be good for, I think, all the citizens of this area to understand it holistically, because, there's some, I think, reasonable problems that were raised by, some of the people there, like, so for example, we all share Sir Francis Drake, are we going to make improvements to congestion, things like that, and so just encourage you all to take a look and, be aware that, this is happening.
And for our school district, it's a few hundred units that would be in our catchment area between Sir Francis Drake, Drake's Landing, and up here by sort of the ski store and those things, as well as some over on Magnolia that's in our area, tenants. So it's something we do need to keep an eye on because it could be a significant impact. And as a district that is funded differently than by head, that's something that could put extreme pressure on the budget.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get an answer on how the taxes, like tax revenue works in those cases. So I think that's something we probably should try to understand as a board.
I added it up, I think it was 235 units in our Kentfield district. And quite a number on the far side by Larkspur Landing, some 600 units over there. That's a Samerfell school district. Sarah, anything to report?
Yeah, just on the housing piece, I want us to keep in mind too, that on the other side, the development of new housing can potentially be positive for students, families, and teachers. And I know in San Francisco, this year they had a 94% increase in unhoused students. I don't think we have the same figures here, but it's important for us as a school board to consider both sides of the housing issue. And then I did have a meeting with the Brady Gun Violence Prevention Organization, and they shared that they have been trying to get additional information and resources out at the county level, and haven't had success doing that because of staffing changes. I spoke with John Carroll about that, but just wanted to offer or suggest that maybe we have some direct engagement, just in thinking through gun violence prevention resources and some of the other tools that they offer for our families.
Good. Definitely keep us posted on that. I reached out to my grade leads, first and second today, and haven't met with them yet. So hopefully that'll be in the coming weeks. In addition to the stuff that we've been working on at the district, I did attend a meeting about the South Alicio facility, the transitional supportive housing that's on South Alicio, which is in our district. There has been a tremendously high spike in 911 calls to the Central Marin Police Department. 108 calls this year to date, which is putting a tremendous burden on the 3 officers that typically work at any one time in Central Marin. And Central Marin includes San Anselmo, Kentfield, Ross, this area, not Ross, Kentfield, and then Larkspur, Madera, I believe. So that's a big area for having 2 deputies at a time, 2 officers at a time respond to these calls, and they're very, very time consuming. And the chief of police sent a very strong message to this committee that I'm part of, that it's an unsustainable burden on local public safety resources. And so he's looking for ways to figure out a way to share that burden with somebody else, perhaps with the sheriff, perhaps with other people, insist that the facility hire another officer. Many plans are being proposed, but currently it's a very, very serious and negative issue on public safety resources in our area. Annie, anything from you?
Only update is I attended Kent's back to school night last Thursday, which I thought Brandon did a great job. It was really, I thought the speeches were great. I thought I had no web leaders who were awesome, especially for 5th grade parents, since a lot of people got lost. So it was really helpful to have them on campus to help. So it was a great event. And that's all.
Pertinent dates. I think we've got some dates at the bottom of the board meeting dates. We have an additional meeting on the 6th. Of course, we have another meeting on the 10th. We have some board governance workshops coming up, as you know. I don't see another sheet. Oh, is on the back here.
Oh,
The other sheet, yeah. DLAC, Equity Inclusion, September 6th, 17th, Safety Committee. encourage trustees to attend the back to school event at Marin County School Boards Association if possible. It's a useful way to be in touch with other school boards. So, activity in the coming weeks. Any other points of discussion?
I had one, I can't remember, did we revisit, committees and grade level assignments in the new year or?
The end of
do
the
we do it
calendar
at the
year.
end of the- okay.
We'll do it in December.
Okay.
in December at the reorg.
Mm-hmm.
And you all received in your packets your grade level assignments, so that carried over. So you should have all that information, so you can reach out to them, to the grade level chairs. For visits and stuff.
Anything else? All right, with that, I will adjourn this meeting.